The reason for that is because eventually we'll be playing that in different keys. You can play that in the key of G or the key of C, and you would just move that pattern up or down on the neck. So understanding how the pattern visually looks on your guitar is really the most important thing here. What's up, man?
Hey man, what's up?
Nothing. I'm just watching guitar videos online.
We want to come over and jam instead of just watching videos?
Well, yeah, I would, but I don't know how. I don't think.
You can do it, man. It's easy. I'll show you.
Okay.
Alright, cool, man.
Cool.
I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Later.
Hey, man, what's up? Thanks for coming over.
Hey, dude, what's
So I
up?
thought we could just do some like jamming together a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. How about do you know like blues patterns or like shuffle patterns?
Not really.
Like
Maybe.
maybe like a downtown shuffle?
I don't know.
I'll show you. It's easy. It's like this. And then you just go through the changes.
Okay.
You get in this pattern. Yeah, you know this one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
1, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of people think that you have to know a lot of music theory, or you have to like know a bunch of scales, or just know a bunch of stuff to be able to jam with somebody else like that. And that really couldn't be further away from the truth. People think that maybe you have to jam with people that are your level. So you have to find someone that maybe is a beginner or intermediate or exactly the same level as you to enjoy doing a jam with them. And that's also not true. So today I'm going to show you a really easy 4-note pattern that will allow you to play blues all over the neck. You can play it by yourself. It's really fun if you're just starting out, or you can play this with somebody else really easily, and you can have hours of fun jamming and learn a lot from your buddies that are a lot better than you. Let's jump right in. First, what you need to know is the key of the song. So when someone says, hey, let's do a jam in A, what you need to do is find that note A on the lowest 6th string. And that is, in this case, right here. Okay. Once you find your root note, or once you find the key of the song, that's your first starting note. So that is here, right here. This is the note A, the 5th fret of the 6th string, all the way down here. Okay. Now, to understand this pattern, you just need to know where these 4 notes are. Okay. And these are the 4 notes right here that you can see on the guitar. Okay. I'll play through those 4 notes in the order that we need to play now. So it's going to be 5th fret here on the low 6th string. Then we're going to skip over to the D string and play the 7th fret. Okay, this is called an octave. So we're playing the note A here to the note A here. Okay, so that's the first 2 notes. Okay, then we're going to play the 5th fret on the D string as well. Okay, let's add that 4th note and then you'll have the whole pattern. The last note here is the 7th fret of the A string. Okay, and as you can see, it follows this shape that you can see here on the guitar. Now, once you know that shape, I recommend just playing it over like this. Just play it over and over again. Just playing through those notes. Okay? So once you get those notes, those are all the notes you need to know. I don't recommend memorizing the fret numbers, okay? Instead, you should memorize the visualization of what it actually looks like. The reason for that is because eventually we'll be playing that in different keys. You can play that in the key of G or the key of C, and you would just move that pattern up or down on the neck. So understanding how the pattern visually looks on your guitar is really the most important thing here. Just playing the notes is one thing, but if you want to give it a little bit of rhythm and make it sound a little bit cooler, you want to add the shuffle, and that's what makes this called a downtown shuffle. It's called the downtown shuffle because we're using the shuffle rhythm. Remember, the shuffle rhythm is counted like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. notice that the ands have been displaced closer to the next downbeat. So a shuffle rhythm is basically kind of the opposite of a straight rhythm, which would be counted like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Notice there the ands are exactly in the middle between the numbers. 1 and 2 and. That's called a straight rhythm. A shuffle rhythm, you just displace the ands closer to the next downbeat. And that sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So we're going to plug that pattern, that shuffle feel, into those notes that we just learned. So that sounds like this. Okay, so let's go through those notes just a little bit slower and get that pattern with the rhythm now. So we know the notes where they are, and we're going to start here on the 5th fret, and we want to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're basically playing each of those 4 notes twice in a row, but not evenly spaced. Remember, we're using that shuffle rhythm. So that sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. If that feels kind of hard for you to do, it might be a good idea to just try to, for a moment, hang out on just this 5th fret note and just see if you can do that rhythm while counting out loud. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. I think it really, really helps to count out loud. So even though it sounds silly and you're just home alone right now, please just count out loud. It's really going to help internalize that rhythm, and it's going to help everything. You won't have to do this forever, but counting really will help that rhythm out a lot. Okay, let's go back to that pattern. So counting it all out and then now adding all 4 notes will sound like this very slowly. So I'll count first and then we'll play it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Great. So now you know the whole pattern, right? That just by itself is a great achievement. If you've never played something like that before, it'll sound like you know what you're doing, just kind of doing something like that. You can play that for people and they'll be impressed a little bit if you're a beginner. But that's not the whole thing. What we now have to do is plug that formula into the 12-bar blues form. Okay? The 12-bar blues form is really important, and I'm going to show it up on the screen right here. So this is the 12-bar blues in the key of A. So you can see the first 4 bars go through an A chord. The second row of 4 bars goes D, D, A, A. And then the last set of 4 bars goes E, D, A, A. And then you would repeat the whole pattern again. So how do you put this pattern into that form? It's actually really simple. All you have to do is be able to find the root note of each of those chords. So in this case, we have 4 bars of A. That means we play the pattern starting on the A note, which is this 5th fret, which is here. That thing we've just been working on, okay? But what happens when the chord changes? Then what do you do? All you do there is you find the root note of the next chord, and then you play that pattern that we just learned over that root note. And if it still sounds confusing, there's another easier way to visualize it. The second chord in the 12-bar blues, so we have the first chord here is the A. Anytime we go to the second chord, which in this case is called the 4 chord, and that's because it goes up the major scale 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes from A to D. D is the 4th note of the A major scale. So we call it the 4 chord. Now when we get to that 4 chord here, the D, we just find that note here, which is 5th fret of the A string, and then we plug in that pattern that we just learned. So now we're going 5th fret of the A to 7th fret of the G. We're skipping the string. Notice that pattern still stays the same. So that's the note D. We're skipping to the octave, 2 strings over, 2 frets up to the 7th fret of the G, back down to the 5th fret of the G, to the 7th fret of the D. Okay, that's the pattern over the D chord. So every time it says D in this 12-bar blues, you're going to play one set of this. That's 1 bar. Again, now it goes back to the first chord, the A. So we play that first pattern again. Okay? Now in the blues, there's 3 chords. So we've gone over 2 of them, the 1 chord and what we call the 4 chord. Additionally, in blues, we have something that's called the 5 chord. So the 5 chord is made from the 5th note of the major scale of whatever key the song's in. In this case, it was A. So we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that gives us the note E. You don't need to know the notes. You just need to know, where's my starting spot? The 4 chord is located 1 string over, same fret. And then the 5 chord, the 3rd chord in her blues, is just 2 frets up from there. So here's the 7th fret of the A string. So we plug in our formula. Just for one pattern, because it's just 1 bar of that 5 chord. Then it goes back to the 4 chord, which is here, D, and then we play the A chord twice to finish it off. So literally, that is the entire pattern. If you follow the 12-bar blues form, and then this little pattern that we just learned, that gives you something that we call the downtown shuffle. And you can literally play that with anybody. Anybody at any level would appreciate somebody to be able to play this pattern. Now, you're going to have to be able to play it with rhythm. So I recommend to practice it with a metronome as much as you possibly can, so you can actually play it with rhythm. If you're not playing it with rhythm, you're never going to be able to play with somebody else, because they're going to be playing with rhythm and they're just going to leave you behind. If you're going to be missing beats and missing chords and things like that, and they're just going to look at you like, okay, you messed up and this isn't going to work. You've got to be able to follow rhythm, and you've got to be able to follow the exact pattern, because that's what the other player is going to do. Now, you might be wondering, well, what if they say a blues in G or blues in C? We talked about that earlier. Literally, all you have to do is find the starting note. So in this case, the G, that's the note G, plug in the pattern that we know, right? Play that 4 times for G. And then, when it goes to the 4 chord, we go to there. Okay, you get the idea. Just start the pattern where the chord changes on the downbeat, and it follows that form. Let's go back to our first form, A. So remember, the first chord is here on the 6th string. The 4 chord, or the next chord, is going to be same fret, 1 string down. That 3rd chord, or what we call the 5 chord, is going to be on the A string 2 frets up from where the 4 chord was. All right. So that's how you can move this pattern around and play it in different keys. So when someone says, hey, let's play a blues in C, again, find that note C, and then plug in the pattern, follow that 12-bar blues. Now, there's other blues patterns you could play. You could play 8-bar blues patterns, 16-bar blues. There's a bunch of different things. Fast change blues, jazz blues patterns. Lots of different things you can learn. But this is a great first step for you to get going to jam with somebody else. And you don't have to know everything about music theory. Just follow the map and you got it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.